Hello my lovelies, thank you again for joining me. Well, we have some more information for you from the dudes upstairs, and I'd like to share a little bit more from my book We of the Sea. I've just been reading through some of the chapters, and this is a body of work that's been 25 odd years in the making. I've received some of this information more than 25 years ago, and cobbled it together and eventually typed it all up, and put it into chapters and various headings. And reading it again, well, it's all for now, because that's where we are. We live in the now, and it's very apt for what we're all going through at the moment. I have yet another of my paintings which I like to share with you. This one I call The Warrior. The energy of it is spiritual warrior, and because we have the planet Mars in its own sign at the moment, Mars is in Aries and it's retrograde. Mars is the warrior planet, the war planet, but as it's going retrograde, this is about us going within, looking inside, exploring that warriorship of ourselves, and how we can steer this energy, let it emanate from us out there into the world in a very, very different way. So there's it's not to do with arguing or fighting or warring with each others. It's that incredible fire energy of Mars, and that fire energy is creative. So it's working with the creator of all that is, emanating from us. So I've got a chapter or so from the book We of the Sea, but also in this last couple of days, a past life memory has resurfaced. I have explored this before, but it's resurfaced, and I think, okay, why is this shown up again? And it's probably because Mars is retrograde. And from time to time, you may find that when you meet new people, you have an instant rapport with them. It's like you know them. You feel very comfortable in their company, and it just flows. And again, the opposite of that, you can meet people and immediately dislike them, have a feeling of anxiety or anger, or and you don't know where it comes from. And again, that can be from a past life. They're showing up again in a different body, in a different situation, but there's something about the energies which triggers you, and it could be to do with a past life or lives that you spent together. And so with this past life that has resurfaced for me, I'll share that with you, and we'll see how it fits into the rest of the information to come. So some years ago, I worked in a little crystal shop, and one of the other ladies who worked in there, we became very good friends, got on really, really well. And her husband was known as Dave the Grave. And the reason he was called Dave the Grave was he was the cemetery keeper. And their house, which was very Gothic, was inside the cemetery. And there were these huge wrought iron gates which kept people out. It was not open to the public. And the wife had this huge set of keys. So if I showed up there, I couldn't just walk in. I had to toot my horn or phone, and then she'd come out with this enormous set of keys and unlock these great big wrought iron gates. It's a bit like a one of the old Hammer House of Horror films. That's when I first turned up there, I thought, good Lord, where am I? Anyway, so as I say, I got to know this lady and her husband very well, and we used to have a meditation group together. And on one occasion I was meditating, and the husband, showed up in the meditation in a past life with me. And he had been my father in this previous life. And together, and we lived in France, I can't remember exactly where it was, but I know it was France. And it was maybe medieval, maybe earlier than that. And my father and I, we worked together and were writing this huge book on alchemy and various other esoteric subjects, but we had to keep it quiet because at that time things of that sort were frowned upon, and you had to keep it secret. You couldn't share it with many people at all. And I remember in this meditation seeing this enormous leather-bound tome, which some might call like the Book of Shadows in the Wicca tradition, and beautiful handwriting in it. So he dictated to me the experiments and the ideas and visions, etc., that he had, and I wrote them down in this book. And then circumstances changed dramatically when he died, and I was married off to a much, much older man, 30 or more years older than me. And I knew that I couldn't take the book with me. I knew it was dangerous to do so. So after my father had passed away, I buried it in a churchyard, in a lead box, lead-lined box. And I can still see it now. It's in this wooden box right up against the wall of the church in this churchyard, somewhere in France. And so I had to go off to where my new husband lived with him, and spent many years away from where I was brought up. And he was killed in a battle of sorts. And so I returned to the area where I was brought up, but I couldn't find the book. And it was, again, very dangerous. I couldn't just walk into the churchyard and start digging up this book. And so I asked my guys, well, why have you shown me this snippet of a past life again? And what they said to me is, the book is now ready to be found. And I said, well, I can't get to France, can I? There's no way I can go, and I wouldn't know where in France. Yes, I could use a pendulum or dowse for it, but there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of churches in France. It'd probably take me a lifetime to try and find it. And they said, no, you don't need to find it in the physical. It is ready to resurface, re-emerge in the etheric. So having that ability to remotely view it using the quantum exercises, to literally bring it into my existence so I can read it. And to be able to hopefully share it with you guys at some point. And if you looked at the previous couple of videos ago, I was talking about when I showed my painting of the symbol of infinity, of how the energies of Atlantis are resurfacing as well, and that when it was at its peak, at its golden age, and some of us, the lifetimes that we spent there, the energy has returned because of all these different timelines and galactic energies prodding us in new directions. The book in the graveyard is somehow associated with knowledge from Atlantis. And when it does show up in whatever shape or form in my life, as I'm reading it, then codes will be activated within me, which were programmed in Atlantis 13,000 years ago. So watch this space. I feel that for an awful lot of people who are waking up, those who are awake, star season light workers as they're called, may start to have things showing up in their lives from previous lifetimes. So this is just an example that I'm sharing with you lot. Whether something shows up in a dream or a meditation, or literally you're in a shop and a book jumps off the shelf. That's happened to me many times. I wasn't even touching them. I wasn't even looking at the book, and it literally jumped off the shelf onto the floor in front of me. So these things do happen. So now I'd like to share with you some other words from the words I received in the book We of the Sea. And this is about downloads. And I've been getting a lot, and I'm sure some of you guys have as well. And it doesn't just happen when you're asleep. It's in waking life. You might be standing in the queue at the supermarket, and then boom, you get an aha moment. You think, gosh, I can't share that with anybody in here at the moment, can I? And it's like an unfolding of things. So here we go. Downloads. Innovations of your mind are now meandering to the surface. You feel clogged with an excess of information. So much has been downloaded and you have absorbed a great deal. There are many courses to the banquet, and it is time to digest. It may seem at times that your brain is so full of information that there is a jam. Remember that nothing is lost. As we have told you before, you are a beacon, a transmitter of light. That light comes to you from your birthplace, your source. It is never diminished and cannot run out. We send and you receive, and you send and we receive. You have a home planet where the master energies reside. You have incarnated on this earth, and it has been a struggle for you and continues to cause you stress from time to time. However, we assure you now that you have come to a place in your physical existence where it will sit more comfortably with you. The parts of you that have seemed separate have now coalesced, so that you have an inner strength. Your core is solid and stable, and you can no longer blow a fuse. Motorbike, thank you very much. You will be joined by fellow masters from your planet, both in the physical and non-physical. These next 2 years are vital for you all to be attuned to the new energies to usher in the world changes. I think some of that's already happened, but also that the next 2 years it'll be more of us becoming attuned. Remember, even the great Jeshua and other prophets needed time to themselves, i.e. 40 days and nights in the desert. Yours is an extraordinary gift which needs to be nurtured and not diluted with you trying to please everyone. Let people find you, seek you out. Know that yours is a friendship worth having. It is not to be taken lightly. Yours is an energy that cannot be confined to small things. We do not mean the detail in the work that you do, but the lifestyle that you have. Small-mindedness has been a theme throughout your family, and you are the one to have broken through that and cannot return to it without feeling restricted and very uncomfortable. That paragraph is very personal, specific to me, but I'm sharing it with you because it may apply or resonate to some of you watching. You no longer carry the negative patterns of your family. There are faint echoes of them from time to time trying to catch your attention and to draw you back, but you bat them away like a nuisance fly and pay no attention to them. In the dissolving of these patterns, you have grown further and further away from your family and friends, both physically and emotionally. Do not hold on to the emotions of grief and heartache. Know that you have done a great service to your ancestral line in freeing them and the generations to come from the confines of their fears. As a pioneer, you are sure to get shot at and criticised. However, there are rewards available for doing this stalwart work. Think of the pioneers of the old Wild West who put everything they owned in a wagon and drove across a hostile, unknown country to stake a claim to some land that they knew not whether it was fertile or not. You have staked a claim to a new land, a new life, a new way of being. And it is your mind that is fertile and your spirit that is strong enough to manifest the dreams that you have. Know that you are always guided in this endeavour and that all good things are yours. Then we move on to soul agreements and the Merkabah. When soul agreements or contracts are activated, so comes an uprush of energies to assist and support in its manifestation. You have reached a point in your soul's journey when multiple contracts and agreements are made live. Some of these are an opening up of situations and others are completing tasks or associations that have reached their culmination point. There is no good or bad, happiness or sadness to be experienced with any of these measures, as life is a continuance of existence, even at your so-called death. For your souls, your higher awareness is always clear as to your function and purpose in your physical manifestation. All comes from love, and to love returns. There is no measure or judgment, save from your human self or ego, as to how you should proceed along your path. The straight and narrow belongs to the ego. The winding and unlimited broad path is your spirit urging you to grow and expand in the arms of the universe. When you reach the gates of heaven, at the close of this physical journey, will you arrive without any luggage, or will you bring a trunk full of experiences that have shaped you into who you are? It is only you who holds regrets for things done, not done, or undone. Your spirit asks you to soar above the mundane, embrace the joy that is your birthright, and banish the fear of living the life you were born to live. When you allow fears to creep into your mind, your heart cannot direct your true course, which is meant to be joyful, loveful, delightful. You have been given the keys to unlock the codes within you to activate your ability to exist comfortably in your light body, your Merkabah. Tune into the guardians of light, your family of light, who love and support you through these momentous transformational times, for you are not meant to feel as though you are floundering alone with this new way of being and feel lost and disconcerted. You signed up for this multi-dimensional journey to other worlds and existences, and your family of light is constantly with you. Some of them have remained in the non-physical, whereas others have entered your life as physical beings. You will recognize them from the light that emanates from them, and the feeling of being with them that you know them from past existences. It is a knowing, a recognition, effortless, natural, egoless, unconditional and love-filled. You will feel as though you are all on the same page, and that together or apart from each other's presence, you are always connected. Your physical bodies have been realigned to the higher vibration of the fifth dimension. You will flip up into it from time to time, like trying on a bespoke new suit of clothes. You have been measured for it, and it has been tailor-made. As you have the number of fittings needed, the adjustments are made so that it becomes a perfect fit. There will be no loose strings or bagginess or discomfort. You will feel lighter, more vital and vibrant. You will see life in a completely different way as the command of your ego slips away, and your spirit guides you to travel within the jet stream of Ascension consciousness. Those of you who choose to exist within this new consciousness will feel as though they are melded with the universal mind, that nothing is beyond them, all knowledge is available, and the means to utilize it in their everyday lives. It is not meant to be as the haves and the have-nots of the third dimensional reality, as all will have the opportunity to exist at this higher vibration and to experience the one mind. Those who choose to remain where they are in the reality that exists for them are not stuck or denied the changes. All are free to choose their own realities, for their souls hold the awareness of all that is. When a traveller stumbles and falls along the way, they may accept a helping hand or stubbornly refuse to embrace assistance, seeing it as a threat to their autonomy. One is neither higher nor lower, better or worse than the other, as we all exist in the now, and all is part of the multiversal blueprint of existence. But also remember that a blueprint holds the potential for manifestation. It is only when all the elements contained within that design are physically and energetically merged that the true design is brought down to earth. And so we say, lighten your load, lighten your hearts. Do not dwell on any unhappiness. Throw a lifeline up into the cosmic jet stream and allow yourselves to be embraced by the loveliness of who you truly are. You are loved and cherished by your family of light throughout eternity. So I hope that's brought you some upliftment and comfort. I know rereading it again after all these years, it just fits, it's apt. This is exactly what I'm going through and people around me are going through. But also knowing that we are well supported, we're well loved, we're well protected, and we have all the tools that we need for this incredible journey. So thanks again for watching. Thank you for your lovely comments. That's really cheerful, cheering me up, and for sharing my messages with your friends on Facebook, etc., etc. So I'll leave that with you until the next time. Thanks again. Lots of love. Bye.